guys, it is Tristan with Nerdouts Newsstand, and we are back with another Bad Ideas for Black History Month. We're going to talk about the best characters when it comes to our favorites, whether it's in comics or abroad. And I am being rude. Bianca, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am good. I am excited to talk about a few of my personal favorites, but I think you should start out this time. I'm going to put you on this.
Okay. So a lot of times when I talk about my favorite characters, it's going to be because of media and not because of comics. I haven't got to those yet. So my first one is going to be, this is not in particular order, by the way, but the first one is Vixen.
I knew it. I was going to put that on my list and I saved it for you. I was smart this time.
So, like, you know, I just love Vixen so much. And that, I just remember her, like, meeting Batman in Rebirth in the JSA run, Justice League of America. And just them next to each other was, like, such... it was just so interesting because, you know, he's dressed up in, like, a disguise and everything. But for Vixen, she's like completely out in the open, who has like a modeling job, and she's like an animal advocate and everything. And I'm just like, that's just so cool. It's a model doing great stuff for animals and also helping people and all that stuff. And it's just, I find that great. It's something different and new, and I wish she had more comics.
I know. I think as far as I remember, doesn't she only have like one solo run?
Yes.
That's what I thought. You know what? I know we talked about it a little bit last time, but have you ever seen her on the CW show?
Yeah.
Is it any good?
As the usual for everything else, they did change her origin story. So I guess she got adopted. Well, their solo run didn't really mention her origin story, but I guess she got adopted by a family and her mother died, though in the solo comic, I believe her mother was still alive, ? But she was adopted, she was bullied as a kid, and she decided to become a fashion designer. And I was like, what's wrong with her becoming a model? And had people...
that seems like a silly change. Like it's in the same ballpark. Why not just okay?
But people were arguing, like, it's the same thing. I'm like, no, it's not. Making the clothes for the models and then being a model wearing the clothes is not the same thing.
Yeah, it's close, but not close. Like, just like
she was also a little bit more angry.
Oh, jeez.
Mellowed out in season 2. Also,
does
like,
she still have her totem?
Yeah, she also has a sister.
Oh.
Who was on like the bad side, and I guess season 2 is when she went on the good side. Sister died. I'm like, why would you do that? I was so angry when they did that. Also, like, they have where she lives Zambese, but in that show, everybody pronounces it different. Some people say Zambesi, or some people call it Zambese, and I'm like, which one is it? Like, they have they try to do an accent when they do both, so it makes it harder to find out how is it supposed to be pronounced. I always called it Zambese.
That's how they kind of are with Ra's al Ghul. It's like Raz, Raish.
Yeah,
like they do it. I don't get that. Yeah, I always called him Raz. Then you hear people say Raish. And then you hear people say, I'm just like, okay, chill. We're just gonna call him
Chillax.
Scary demon guy. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I when I was going through and I was kind of trying to go through my thought process, I'm like, Vixen, of course, Vixen, right? And I'm like, nah. Last time I saw Black Canary and Oliver, I knew you liked Vixen, so I wanted to give that one to you. So most of your you read her solo run, but most like how you felt your meet cute with her was in the animated stuff.
I remember seeing her in Brave and the Bold, and then I'm like, she looks familiar. And then I had a video recommended to me on YouTube, like all Vixen's appearances, and I'm like, she was in the Justice League, and so I rewatched the Justice League, and I'm like, there she is! Oh my gosh, she's so cool!
She's awesome on Injustice too. Have you ever played Injustice?
The game?
Yeah.
No.
You're missing out. She is
It's
awesome though. I like Vixen a lot, but I know somebody who's better. No, I'm just kidding. So I have first for mine is a character that is so underutilized, just like Vixen. I feel like that's gonna be the theme of today. Is all of these characters we talk about are super underutilized, but Jakeem Thunder.
Oh, he's the character from Stargirl. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes. And he's only been around probably 25, probably 25 years. I think he came out in like the late 90s, right? And I know he was only 15, right? So Jay Garrick basically first gave him the pen with Yusei in it. Do you remember? Did you watch Stargirl season 2?
I'm still on it. I'm almost done. 4 episodes left.
Oh, awesome. Well, the stuff with Jakeem in the comics is way different because unfortunately in
Of
season
course.
2 in season 2 they don't get to use him a lot, I think is a lot of the big thing.
I
Like
still haven't seen
you say, yeah, you'll barely see him and then it'll be like to wash dishes or something. Like it's 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 kind of a blink and you miss it kind of thing, but at least like it's the beginning. Maybe in season 3 he'll take a bigger part in it. But as far as like Jakeem goes, he had the pen with Yusei in it, and Yusei is the genie, right? Um, and I always remember. So the thing that got me loving him was when I was reading. I believe it would have been in JSA Volume 1 or JLA Volume 1. I cannot remember, but like Aladdin was a big thing, right? Genies, this whole
Yeah.
like, and Yusei in the pen comes out and he says, "You got a friend in me." All right, you ain't never had a friend like me. And I just like it was such a cultural thing, like and I found it hilarious. So I wanted, as silly as that is, it made me want to look more into into him as a character. So I he's the second wielder of Yusei or after Johnny Thunder. And it's so confusing because he's got like, you have to say so cool in order for him to come out, right?
Mhm.
But it
So
there's
hip.
so many different levels of like genie mythology in the DCU. It was like first you had to say you say, and then you had to say so cool. And wait, no, first you had to say, oh my god, I can't even remember. I should have wrote it down, but it was like first you had to say say you,
Whatchamacallit.
and then so cool. But his name is Yusei. Like they just tried to drive me crazy with that. Like my ADD is going off the wall, going, okay, so what are all these different words? What do I need to know? But then after I started looking into him, he basically he fought, alongside Shazam, and it changed to so cool. So I was like, okay, I can handle this. I can, it's different enough. I can handle it. He had like, because it's a genie, he's got like, unlimited power basically. And a lot of the limitations were like really, basic. You can't use slang. Like you have to say things perfectly. So if you're like saying like how they use it in Aladdin, I want make me a prince, he would literally make a prince in front of him instead of making him one. Like you have to be super careful about it. But there was this issue where he was trying to help, actually there was two, where he was trying to help homeless people and he tried to use his pen in order to do so and just made things worse. And just he had a crossover with Alan Scott at that point, but he made things worse. Like his intentions were pure. He was trying to help all the people in the area that were homeless and basically oppressed at that point, and he tried to use his pen and he fucked everything up because of course he did. And that was like a huge growing moment for him, and I thought it really made the character endearing. And then there was an issue where even though this giant genie has like all of this cosmic power, there's a kid that he wants to help with a terminal cancer, and there's nothing he can do about it. And it's like that coming of realization to know that no matter what, if he helps everybody and he never sleeps and he works his hands to the bone day after day after day, he can't help everybody. And it's kind of that like moment when he realizes like, I got to do good with what I have now in order to help as many people but also give myself a little bit of a break. And I thought it was really cool to see a character go through so many struggles being a legacy character, because this is just as much a a race swap as Jace Fox or something like that, right? Because he takes after Johnny Thunder. So this is a legacy. And I thought it was really cool to see this character just really at this point, like down on his luck, kind of turn everything around and for the rest of it out, do a really good job. And then of course he has a crush on Stargirl, so I love that too.
Cool. My second one, I guess, it would be Jon Stewart.
Ooh, good one.
Since Justice League cartoon and all that stuff.
I was just gonna ask.
Yes. The answer is yes.
So is he your Green Lantern?
Yes, I remember when the Ryan Reynolds one came out. Funny enough, I didn't see any trailers for that. I just heard that they were going to make a Green Lantern movie, and I was like, okay, let's go. I didn't look at the trailers. I didn't look at the promotional posters or anything. We just went, and then I came out of the movie theater super confused, and I was talking to my dad. I'm like, Dad, why wasn't he black? And my dad was like, what? Bianca. And he was like, he's not black. Jon Stewart is supposed to be the Green Lantern. And he was like, no, the Green Lantern's white. And I'm like, no, Dad. When I was watching the cartoon, he was black. So why did they make him white? He's like, no, the Green Lantern, the original Green Lantern was always white. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I've been bamboozled.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
I thought they purposely changed the character to white. And I'm like, I saw this crappy movie.
That's so funny. So you're not a fan of the movie is what you're trying to say?
No. Like, just besides the whole, even if it was like Jon Stewart, it would still be crappy.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good movie. It was okay. I honestly, I don't even remember. All I remember is that big old head.
I like the Mad version of it.
The Mad version of it?
Oh, you know of Mad, the magazine?
Yeah, like Mad Magazine, yeah.
So Cartoon Network had their own Mad series, and a lot of them was like making fun of movies or anime. It was fun stuff, and one of them was making fun of the Ryan Reynolds movie. But instead of a Green Lantern, he was a Care Bear, and the pledge was something Care Bear related, and I was like, that's pretty cool. He was like, beware my Care Bear stare. And I'm like, that's great. I love that.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I like Mag Magazine. It used to be so funny. I do know they still print it because I looked at the solicitations, but
70-year-old now. 70-year-old?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I feel old, and I only saw the cartoon series.
That's fine. I've never seen the cartoon series. I only knew the magazine, so.
You're not, it's an acquired taste, and that is because I don't know if it was because of budget or something, but a lot of the times it is very, very ugly and very, very disgusting. Like, there was a guy who was popping a pimple, and as soon as he pops it, stuff other than pus comes out of that pimple, like trash, and it keeps going and going and going and going until he becomes submerged in it, and that just is in my brain, and I'm like, oh, that was so gross.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, ew. Kind of though, exactly what I would expect from Mad. So for the next one I have, we're going to just go ahead with the JLA theme I have going on here. Crimson Avenger 3.
Never heard of them.
You never heard of Crimson Avenger? Okay, well, let me tell you something. Honestly, there's not a whole lot. Her name's Jill Carlisle.
It's a girl?
Yeah.
Oh.
She's actually the third, so another legacy one. She first showed up, I want to say, in the Stargirl comic, I believe, by Jeff Johns in the late 90s. I'm not exact. I think. I know that Jakeem was Flash. I believe she was Stargirl. See, they all kind of interact, right? But basically, a Crimson Avenger is, Spectre, right?
From
DC Comics. Yeah.
Yes. Green guy.
Yes. Basically, very similar concept, a spirit of vengeance, right? So her whole shtick is she is set out on a path depending upon who she's working on, a victim of a crime, for vengeance for that person. She was originally a law student, and she kind of got into this whole thing where she wanted to, like, it was obvious the guy that she was going up against was guilty, but because of a technicality, he got out. He got off on the charges, and it drove her crazy. And she came across these Colt pistols. She carries 2 Colt pistols, and they're like sentient.
Ooh.
And it's, they don't have triggers. They just basically, they're kind of like
automatic, magic.
Yes. And it's almost like
Dante from Devil May Cry. Yes.
Oh yeah.
You get unlimited ammo.
Yeah. Similar, but like at first I thought they were like controlled by her mind, but there are times where she has to like make them hold back from shooting people when she doesn't want them shot. She also has a gunshot in her chest, like right in her breastbone, that is constantly bleeding. Like it's like, and it's constantly causing her pain, but like she doesn't, perish from it or anything. And she basically, every time she's comes across a new person that needs justice, she has to mentally relive their death and go through what they went through. So like there was a patient that, or not a patient, a death row, somebody on death row that was wrongfully killed in the electric chair. So she had to like mentally relive their death in that chair. And she really doesn't have much, like she's only in the JSA, I want to say. There's not a lot with her, unfortunately, but like she's such an, again, underutilized character. She's really cool. She has this ability to like she can kind of teleport. Like she can only teleport like if she's seeking vengeance for somebody. She can only teleport like to their scene of the crime or where she's needed to go next. She can't like teleport to the Bahamas. But
well, at least, it can help her solve the case quicker to know where she needs to go with the teleporting.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of helps show her where she needs to go, right?
But if they were killed in the Bahamas, then,
Well, yeah, there you go. We saw her show up in this recent Stargirl special. So I'm hoping that they do something with her in the new JLA that they've been teasing for, forever and ever and ever. I'm hoping. But she's one of those characters that really only is limited to maybe less than 12 issues of the comics and none of her own. Like, she's always just a side character, but she's so interesting. Yeah, and I hate it because she's such a cool character.
Same with Vixen.
I know, right? Like, these people are jerks. They need to let them stretch their legs out and get some of these characters and really put them at the front because the concept is cool.
It is. I love it. I would want to read it. But, she's only have guest appearances.
Like, and she works with other people. She helped, with
Wait, you said she was part of the JSA?
Yeah.
And she uses guns?
I mean, yeah.
Somebody call Batman. Make her a Robin. Batman. He'll teach her the ways.
I mean, but they are like magical pistols. I don't know if that counts or if that matters, but like
if they still kill, I guess they would matter.
Yeah, but they can't kill her. She actually, so that's actually what got me. Well, she got so sick of it at one point, having to constantly live vicariously through her victims and all of this tragedy and death. She tried to kill herself once with them.
Oh.
And it was such a powerful moment, but like she couldn't. They would not do her will. And it's like she got a lot of camaraderie after that, but that was such a good moment to see that character like realize, yeah, there's a reason why I have to redo this, why I have to live through this trauma all the time, over and over and over again. And I really like her. They just throw her to the side a lot, like a lot of their characters, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like she doesn't have any media appearances as far as like, like Jakeem was on Stargirl, but that would be cool. That would be really cool.
It would. I would love to see her in Stargirl. Jeff Johns, are you listening?
Right? Exactly. She could be totally awesome.
Sneeze, but don't sneeze.
Who you got next?
Cyborg.
Boring. No,
Again,
kidding,
this is not from the comics, but from like the Teen Titans series cartoon, which everybody told me is different from the comic, and I'm like,
wait, Teen Titans Go or the Teen Titans?
The Teen Titans.
Okay.
I only saw like one season of Teen Titans Go.
It's so cute though.
It's cute. It's super cute.
So why do you like Cyborg? I always find him very interesting.
Boring?
No, boring.
Your brain knows not what your heart wants. Well, he was always such an interesting character. Like, he's, the mechanic, he's the techie guy. He literally does everything in the house. He's smart. And there was, of course, that I didn't know then, but that racist episode with Starfire and that joke he put at the end, and which apparently a lot of people like. I understand if you didn't get it when you're younger, but when you're taking it literally as an adult, I'm like, are you serious, bro? So there was like this alien guy that came to visit and knew Starfire, and he would call her an insult. I guess it may or may not be some kind of slur, but it mostly meant that she was like an idiot. And nobody knew, but she didn't say anything. So Cyborg confronted her. He's like, hey, I thought you guys were cool. And she's like, no, we don't like each other. And he's like, yeah, but he calls you this. And she's like, that means I am an idiot. And, he talks about his experience. And he's like, oh, yeah, of course I'm discriminated. I'm half robot. And everybody took the half robot seriously. I'm like, no, guys, it's because he's black.
Oh my goodness.
And they're like, no, but he said half robot. And I'm like, they couldn't put this in a cartoon.
Yeah.
He meant black. But he said it in like he said it with a pause. He's like, I'm discriminated too. Because I'm a half robot. And it was like, and him with Robin, their dynamic of always like arguing with each other. I always find that fantastic.
Is he still like good friends with Garth in it?
Yes, like best friends,
That's what I thought. I love that. I do like their dynamic.
Mm-hmm. They did put like a lot more of that in like the Teen Titans Go. Well, especially since Teen Titans Go, I feel like is about to have more seasons than the regular Teen Titans.
It was so cute.
It's so cute. I like the waffle song.
It's like mind-numbingly fun. Like, just something you don't have to think about. I don't mind that. I like that every once in a while. What did you think about Cyborg and the Justice League movie?
I didn't see it.
Wait, you didn't see the first one?
Nope. And I don't plan to.
Okay. All right. Smart girl.
I did see him in Doom Patrol. I like him in Doom Patrol.
The only thing I have with that is I love Doom Patrol. It's fantastic. It's one of the better DC shows. But the actor that plays him, like, as much as I disagree with Ray Fisher on like the way he acts on social media and stuff, he still did a phenomenal job in his role. He did a great job with that role. The Jovian Wade that plays Cyborg, his acting sometimes a little bit stale for me.
I can definitely understand that. I feel like it's not just him, but some of the characters overall. And I don't know if it's due to like I don't know if Doom Patrol has like a low budget, but looking at the effects and everything, mm-hmm. I'm like especially how Cyborg looks, it definitely
doesn't it look
like
plasticky. Every once in a while, I'm like, bro,
it looks like a toy sometimes.
Yes. Okay, at least I'm not the only one, but like the show's good overall. Like I really do like it, and it's not that I could do better. It just feels like a little off sometimes.
Yeah, that's normal. Like I hear that all the time with people's acting. Like when you start paying attention to it in movies, you're like, that was a bit stale. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it'll ruin your like movie watching experience.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I it definitely did. So
cool. What's your next one?
I have Shadowhawk. I'm gonna talk about Shadowhawk from Image. I have another one I want to say, but from Image, but Shadowhawk's such a cool character. So like, I don't know more recent stuff, but from the 90s run, I think he came out in Youngblood, but then he had his own stuff. He was basically from, and I went over it again the other night because I wanted to make sure. He was a lawyer. He was always kind of the golden child. And his brother was the child that was kind of like not a nuisance. That's not a way to ever call a child. I mean, he was the thug basically going around town selling drugs, right? So he got into some trouble, his brother, and wanted his lawyer brother to get his not necessarily friends, but partners in crime off the hook, and he refused to do so. So they caught him, they beat him, and they injected him with HIV.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And this was during the early 90s. So you got to remember, like, the strides, look back then, it was like, you were looked at as a pariah, right? You were afraid, like, people were afraid if you shared a towel or a spoon that you could catch something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, with that, he knew he was on kind of borrowed time, right? And he he started working with this lady, and I can't remember her name, but she got him some experimental police armor. He used it to become a vigilante. He didn't have any regular powers. He just used it kind of to beat up criminals, right? And then everything seemed to be going pretty well. And then it kind of takes this weird dark turn because he started getting an impersonator, somebody that was literally trying to do what he did. And they call themselves Hawk Shadow because, of course, it's super original. Like, right. And he kept seeing him on TV. He wanted to do what he did, but then a pattern sort of emerged where he was only targeting young Black men and interracial couples. Like, even to the point where this one time, this woman was like, he was beating this Black man up, and he was screaming. This woman was screaming, "That's my husband. That's my husband." And he kills her too. Like, how dare you? You're with a Black man. So it became a big thing. They did end up facing off eventually, and it basically comes down to him not realizing that the man underneath the suit was Black, and this guy was super, super prejudiced, right? Super racist. And he ended up taking him down, but like it becomes this whole thing where like he was radicalized by him to do something that he never set out to do. He only set out to help the neighborhood the way he knew how, because with him having HIV and eventually AIDS, he thought that was how he could, help out the most. He definitely went through like, he worked with Brigade. He went up against Savage Dragon. I know he worked with Spawn, oddly enough, sometimes.
Ooh.
And they were never able to cure his AIDS. It became, fully fledged, and it actually ended with him dying.
Oh no.
But it was such a good, like, story on the ideals of growing up at that time and not knowing what this new disease was about, right? Because I think it came out in 1992, so like it was brand new, and it kind of let you live through that whole section of life. Now, a lot of it probably right now would be seen as like problematic or whatever, but during that time, it was telling this cautionary tale of like, at the end of the day, you just got to kind of live and do the best with what you have, no matter how much time you have left, because you take stuff for granted, and then the next day it's gone. And like, they even brought in like Grifter and the Wildcats and all of them to try to cure this. And from my understanding, they didn't want to cure it. They did relaunch it at some point, but like they didn't want to cure it because they wanted his eventual death not to be from fighting, a vigilante or a bad guy or anything. They wanted it to be to the disease. So I always thought that was really cool to see something like that impactful, not only kind of talk about the race stuff, but like a serious epidemic at that time. I thought that was really neat.
I think that's super cool.
And it's so old, like, but comics were never political. Sorry, I had to.
I feel like When I hear people say that comics were never political, I say, what kind of comics? Like, do you mean just superhero comics? Because apparently every single person has mostly read just superhero comics and just haven't mostly seen a lot of that stuff in there. Like, there's not just action comics or just not romance
Right.
comics. It's everything they talk about has always been superhero. So I wonder, like, obviously there's been politics in comics that has been touched upon. Like, you can't just say that it just never happens in comics. You can say
Right.
it's never happened in superhero comic books, which can also be a lie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I just showed
Depends on
you.
who's writing it. Like,
Yeah.
maybe, like, when they say they only read superhero comics, it's mostly Marvel or DC, not so much Image or other stuff. But
And
like, I'm getting so much like indies superhero comics, and like I've seen a lot of them talk about race or do something about race and all that stuff. Or literally bought one where this guy became a superhero because because of the BLM riots. Like, he's black and he doesn't want people associate Black Lives Matter with the rioters, so he's trying to take care of the rioters.
oh my goodness, that's crazy. I never. What is that?
It was one that I like backed on Kickstarter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was an indie. It's called a Black Bow Uprising.
Oh, that sounds
And here's the
interesting.
thing: like, he was fueled by the murder of his older brother at the hands of a crooked cop. A young man goes down the path of the vigilante, and then also help with the help people not say, hey, the rioters, they're not Black Lives Matter, okay?
That's actually an interesting concept. I like it. I might have to look it up.
So yeah, so there's a lot of stuff together, so I'm gonna see how the comic does it.
Yeah, that and if they can pull it off, it might actually be pretty good basic concept moving forward. You know what I mean?
And he's an archer, and I'm like, oh, I don't have a lot of archer comics, so I'm gonna get it.
There you go. Perfect. So who do you have next?
For me, I have Static because of the cartoon.
Ooh, good one. I like Static too.
Well,
That
he's
was
on my list.
yeah, that's right. That was another one that the cartoon was relatively political. I didn't notice it then.
Very. There were some things my sister and I saw, and we were like, oh, no way.
I love the Dakota verse though. The stuff they put, like, right now the relaunch is, at least in my opinion, I like Icon and Rocket the most, but like Static was such a good character. It still is. That show changed a lot.
Like, the depression episode made me so sad.
I mean, typically depression isn't supposed to make you feel good.
No. Well, like, there was like that Christmas episode. I guess it was like a lot of mental illness stuff, and everybody was like, oh my gosh, I remember crying so much, and I'm like, what a bunch of wimps, I'm not gonna cry. And then I told my sister about it, and I'm like, yeah, like, we're gonna cry. And then we're both tearing up, and we're like, why did I say that? I didn't think it would hit me so hard.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Oh, well, hello, Bane. Sorry if that got loud. That was Bane. Go running right in front of the mic. But yeah, have you read any of his comic book stuff yet?
Well, I have the Milestone blah 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 #1.
You gotta read it. I want you to review it. You have to.
Know.
No, I'm just kidding.
This is so big.
I know.
You haven't gotten yours yet?
I haven't checked my mail. I'm checking it on Saturday.
You gotta check. It is Saturday.
Oh my god, it's Saturday. I thought it was Friday because we normally record on Fridays. Okay, well, I'm checking it later today. I only ever check my mail like twice a month. If that.
Oh my
Bane,
gosh, that's a lot of mail.
Please, just chill. Just chill.
Yes, you didn't pay your bill, and
huh?
Like, you said that you only check your mail twice a month, so I'm thinking like there's some really old bill that you have to pay.
Usually I just do everything automatically, so I don't even have to like to see them.
Oh my
I'm like,
gosh.
just take them out of my check. I don't wanna look at bills. Please. Okay, so next I have well, I was gonna talk about Michonne from The Walking Dead, but I think we better mention Nubia because she is the Black Wonder Woman.
Ah, dang it.
Did I steal one of yours?
Yes.
I love Nubia though. Like, I'm not gonna lie, her newer stuff isn't great. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite representation of her at all. But I love how they are able to take a different side of, Wonder Woman and kind of go like do the nature versus nurture thing, right? Because Diana grew up on Themyscira, whereas she grew up with Ares and was controlled by him. And I like that idea, even though they've kind of changed it over the years. Like there's no way that they could ever keep the original origin with like them both being made out of clay. One was just slightly darker. Like, no, that wouldn't work nowadays. But
in the other one, they were both like sisters, like, but like half sisters. Wonder Woman was like Zeus, and then she was like with Ares, I believe, or Hades.
Yeah,
or
Ares.
like that.
And I like that because like because she grew up with Ares. Dana, go. Because she grew up with Ares, she was able to be like, a little bit more heartless than Diana, a little bit more fierce, but yet still she had that Amazonian side of her that was awesome. And another Amazon that's really cool too that they don't necessarily talk about near as much is Philippus, who I like a lot. They did have her in the Wonder Woman movie. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little impressed that they actually put her in there, and then they race swapped Artemis, which was so weird to me.
They also had her in the Reboot Wonder Woman comic.
The Rebirth?
Rebirth, sorry, not Rebirth.
I was like, what's Rebirth? I need to know what this is. I need to check it out.
I'm sorry.
No, you're totally
also
fine.
For Nubia, like in her original, in her first appearance, she wasn't in an island full of women. She was in an island with men.
Yeah. Working. Was it all men on Ares one? Wait, what? I'm trying to remember.
Well, I remember when she went back to the island after the Wonder Woman
fight
games. Yeah. It was, I just saw men. I didn't see any women. So I'm like, okay, I guess I should just assume that she's the leader of this all-men island.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was. So like, I like that dichotomy of everything being so different, but at the end of the day, they are able to kind of reconcile who they are. I'm just honestly like, with the trial of the Amazon and stuff coming up, I am hoping beyond all hope that they do her some justice. It feels like every once in a while, like I know she's getting officially, I guess, a coronation for the queen. I thought she was already queen, but okay. It just feels like every few years, maybe like every 10 years, they bring her back out. They do a couple things with her, and then we'll see her in 10 years again. Whereas Diana is a mainstay, and it's like, give her her due and put a writer on a Nubia title that makes people want to buy it, that brings people in, and give her like more than, I think we're at issue 5 right now. Give her like 12 issues, not just 6. Let somebody do a whole story with her where we can go through a lot more than just like Amazonian politics. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully there's hope a little bit, even if it's very small. So who do you got? Who do I
got? I got Bumblebee. Also, I know her from the Teen Titans original cartoon and from the Young Justice. 2 very different personalities, though.
Yeah, and the weird thing to me, I was going to talk about Bumblebee, but I'm like, I don't know much about her.
Well, like, I don't know her comic appearance. I just know that from the 2 cartoons that she.
What is Bumblebee's deal? Because I barely remember her from the comics, and I don't know anything about her. I know she's Isn't she married to Mal? Like
in the Young Justice, I believe.
Okay, I thought
It's been a
so.
while.
I know her from. Oh my god, this is gonna sound really sad. So bear with me. I know her mostly from DC Superhero Girls.
I should rewatch that. The old animation
so
and then the newer animation.
It's so cute. I love it.
I love it too.
So what's her deal in the show?
So for the Teen Titans ones, and I know that in the Young Justice one, I know that she can shrink herself, and like I guess depending on which one. In the Teen Titans, she had these like thunderbolts things where she would hold it, and a thunderbolt would come out. But I guess in the Young Justice one, she has like gloves or something that can just make yellow energy blasts. I know in the Teen Titans, I believe she wanted to be on a mission. Cyborg told her no. She decided to do it anyway, and that was to like infiltrate the Hive Academy Brotherhood, whatever, so she can be like recruited to the bad side. And like she and Cyborg had so much fights, but she ended up being the leader of Teen Titans East.
Awesome.
In the Young Justice one, she was mostly doing like some intelligence work. So we didn't see her. I saw her much less than what I saw her in the Teen Titans show. So like I'm trying to remember what the heck she did, besides like like working in a lab and all that stuff, which apparently people say it's more to the comics than the other one, obviously. So I'm like, okay, so like smarts is her thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's all I remember from her is her really being like super intelligent and falling in love with Mal. Like that's bad, but she's so again underutilized compared to a lot of the characters that I don't even remember her in modern comics at all. Like I only remember her old stuff, old like 80s, early 80s.
The good stuff.
They did stuff.
Huh? No, I said the good stuff.
Oh, the good stuff. Okay, so I have one more that I definitely want to.
Oh, then you only got one more?
Well, I was looking at the time and I'm like, wow, we could talk about no, I have a bunch more. I have like Amanda Waller and Aqualad and Black Racer, but I want to make sure I mention Michonne from The Walking Dead.
I never watched Walking Dead. I watched my brother watch it, but I loved Michonne.
I never watched it either, but I read it, and there was only like, okay, so I watched a couple episodes, and then I got to this point where like you see this baby car seat, and like obviously the child that was in it had been like ripped and torn apart, and I couldn't do it anymore. Like I can do it in a graphic novel that's not colored, but like it was seeing it in real life, I was like, yeah, I'm out. But as far as in the comics, there was this one, like she's a badass for every intents of the world. She is amazing. She is probably my favorite character in the entire series. But there was one moment when I knew that I loved her, and that was when she was married. She had 2 little girls, right? And I'm pretty sure because I haven't been reading the deluxe. I probably should. I know they recolored it and stuff, but pretty sure they only ever ended up finding one daughter. But she was gone when the outbreak hit. She was divorced at the time with her new boyfriend. And the outbreak hit. And the moment that I knew I loved her was when she walked out with them on chains.
Yes.
And it was like, holy shit, this girl doesn't fuck around. Like, did they
love it?
Oh, did they remake that? I'm pretty sure they probably had to.
I remember seeing that on the I remember seeing it on the TV, and I'm like, holy crap, that's amazing.
Like she cuts their arms and jaws off in order to get that camouflage because of the smell. And I'm like, that takes a strong woman. That is the man she was in love with, and I believe it was his brother, if I remember correctly. How could
I
you?
remember 2 kids and I remember a guy. I'm not sure if it was 3 or 4 people though. It's been so long.
Yeah, and it has, but like Michonne is one of those characters that I think everybody can kind of look at and be like, yeah, that bitch is bad. Like,
Actress is amazing too.
and she's really, really pretty. She fits the part. She played, from what I've seen, like I said, I did watch certain scenes. Like I watched the scene where everybody has seen it. It was a little bit different when oh my god, I can't even remember the little boy's name. He has to kill his mom. I watch those scenes. I watch a couple different scenes, but like I couldn't take the real, like the live action version of that, just because like I'm not squeamish even. It's kids and young babies. Just I can't do it. But I can deal with like this side of it, like her being so willing to survive and wanting to survive that she is able to go to extremes that nobody would go to. Nobody would able to bring themselves to. I love it. I love Michonne. She's so cool. And those katanas. Oh,
yes.
She's such an awesome character.
I guess I have to like skim through. I have to like. I'll just say mine's really fast. I guess.
There we go. Go for it.
Okay, so Aqualad from the Young Justice series.
He was on the point too.
Yay! So I haven't watched the latest 3rd season, 4th season, however many seasons we are at now, which I'm happy we're getting. But from the 1st and 2nd season, you know, I love that. You know, I loved his leadership and I loved everything about him. You know, calm, cool, collected, and all that stuff.
No,
Falcon, yes.
One question, real quick: is he the same Aqualad that's in the comics?
I believe. Wait, maybe it was.
Is it Black Manta's son?
2nd season or was the 3rd season? Maybe I did watch the 3rd season. So like, yes, he does end up like. I remember him like kissing a guy. And he did end up being Black Manta's son.
Okay, so yeah,
2nd
same
season.
Guy. Yep.
Mm-hmm. He did not grow his hair out though.
I like the long hair though. It's hot.
I won't. I don't know if I should say.
I think it's great. It looks good. Yes, it looks great.
Great. Next one is Falcon from the Marvel movies. I just ended up just really liking the character, and I didn't want him to become Captain America.
You liked him better as Falcon?
Yes, I don't want him to change. I love the wings.
I know, the wings are so cool.
But I also haven't seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so like I don't know what they're gonna do.
Oh my gosh! Now you have homework.
Yay! I also have to see WandaVision 2.
What? Have you at least seen Loki?
No, I chose not to see Loki.
Girl, you are no, I'm just kidding.
I'm a mess. Next one is Tombstone from the because of the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon series that got freaking canceled. Those crappers.
Was that the Spider-Man one where they had where he was in high school and he had all of his friends around him? He had Iron Fist and
no,
okay, I remember.
No, this one he's solo.
Okay.
And it's literally if you like the 90s Spider-Man, the Spectacular Spider-Man is from the 2013 is the one that you watch next.
Okay. Gotcha.
Especially that song, and they made a full version of it. Yay! I love the song. So I remember him in the 90s cartoon, and he was more like a bodyguard, but in the 2013 he's the boss. Like take out what's it called? Fisk, and replace him with Tombstone.
Oh, that's cool.
I didn't know he until I spoke to Leo that he was an albino black man.
Don't bring up Tombstone.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just
censor
kidding.
It with a bleep bleep. And so cool. Now we're out of the comics phase. Now I go to the other media. Adebayo and her wife from Peacemaker.
Oh, I love them.
List. Yes.
Such a good example. How did I not think of Adebayo?
Because I'm cool.
Yes, that's right.
I thought she was gonna have her bones broken from the torpedo move. She looked like in so much pain.
I know. I'm so glad she didn't, though. She did such a good like being able to take down the corruption that her mom has caused. I love it.
I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna have her legs broken.
Poor
Hopefully not,
Annabelle.
and hopefully her mother has compassion.
Yeah, that's cute.
So the next one on my list, my list is Prince Ezrin from The Dragon Prince, um, made by Aaron, freaking last name Ehaz or whatever the frick. He helped with the Avatar: The Last Airbender cartoon.
Oh, okay.
With the co-creators. And so he decided to make his own show, which if you watch it, you can see the Avatar: The Last Bender elements. They got the guy who plays Sokka on there too. Wonderfulness. So there's this little boy named Ezrin. He has a half brother, or was it adopted brother? Shoot, man, it's been so long. It's one of those. It's a half brother, sorry. And because he is connected to the royal bloodline originally, because like the king had like 2 wives after the first one died. He has to be next in line for the throne, but he's like only 10 years old, and because his father passed away. And so he can also speak to animals, and I love that, of course. But he's just so kind, and he's just so wise for his age. Like, he's trying to because there's a war going on at the moment, and he's trying to do the best he can to have like not like the less people slaughtered as possible, and also listen to his subjects, like who's giving him the right advice, who's not giving him the right advice, and all that kind of stuff. And he's a great kid. I love him so much.
That's awesome.
I'm waiting. Oh, next season is confirmed. I'm so happy. I'm also sad. I don't want him to get hurt. He's only 10. Okay.
Aww.
So I think I'm just gonna have one more.
Okay.
And actually, no, this is gonna be like tied for 2. Okay. So, and it is going to be Maurice, I don't remember his number, and number 5 from the Codename Kids Next Door series.
Oh, I've seen commercials for that.
You've seen commercials for that? How long ago?
Like years ago, I'm pretty sure.
Years ago. Yeah, that makes sense. So, number 5, everybody loves number 5. Number 5 is such a fan favorite, you know, how she's just like so cool and so smart for her age. And, you know, the how she fights with her sister, who is like a teenager and considered one of the evil sides. You know, one fights for evil, one fights for good, all that kind of stuff. Maurice was very interesting because the first time you see him, he's actually about to become a teenager at age 13. And of course, when you become 13 years old, that's when your memories get erased. Oh, and wow. You end up joining like the teenagers for evil. And so like I'm seeing that like everybody was crying during that, and I was crying, and I'm like, no, Maurice, don't go. And no, he was number 9, I think. Number 9. And so like having him change when he became 13 was like such a sad part. And then you see him with the teenagers, and I'm like, no, bro, you were with the Codename Kids Next Door, you were with them, and like I don't want you guys to fight. But then it turns out later on that his memories were never erased. Oh wow. Apparently, if you're good enough, your memories will not get erased, and you will be you can infiltrate the teenagers and the adults and become like a secret agent. And yeah, I thought that was I thought it was fantastic. I'm like, yes. You know, so he was just a strong character, such an awesome character too. And I guess I talked more about him than number 5, and number 5 is awesome too. So that's the end of my list.
No, I gotta add one more. And I don't know, okay. I don't know if you've ever seen. Have you ever seen Raising Dion?
No, I'm not sure if I heard about it either.
It's on Netflix. It's season 2 is coming out. Like, or I think it is out. I just gotta watch it. It's amazing. It's this little boy that lost his dad, and under very weird circumstances, his dad was a meteorologist, and he was investigating some weird like abnormal lightning and thunder activity. He's gone, and so the single mom has to raise this little boy, and all of a sudden he starts getting powers and things start floating, and then this mystery comes in, and it is so wholesome. Like, I love Peacemaker. I love the jokes. I thought it was funny. you can't watch it with anybody under, the age of 18, probably. This you could watch with anybody. You could watch this with your grandma and not feel awkward. Like, it is so sweet. It's so, like, and it's such good representation of, like, a single mom trying to make it in the world with a kid that she, is raising, but after all this, kind of knows nothing about. And then the mystery of the husband and how he actually disappeared. I love it. It's such a good, and it's like a superhero-esque, but also like not. Like, I love it. It's so good. I'll send you the trailer.
Raising yeah. It was recommended to me on Netflix, and I said, oh, this looks cute.
It is. It's super good. It's only, I think the first one is like 8 or 9 episodes. And it's like a binge-worthy series. I love it.
I have to watch it.
I gotta watch it.
Nobody's talking about it much, which kind of disappoints me.
Well, it did come out pre-pandemic, so it's been a while.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's been like,
I thought it was new.
No, season 2 is new. Season 2 just came out like a week ago. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but season 1 came out pre-pandemic, so there was a long waiting time in between. But it's worth it. Like, it's worth it to watch it if you just want something like feel good, right? Like, it's obviously not all of it. There are struggles and stuff, but like, it's great. It's a great show.
I will watch.
You know what? I got one more. Rumor from the Umbrella Academy.
Oh, shoot. I totally forgot about her. I have to see the second season.
What? Oh, you have so much homework.
I know.
I love Rumor.
As soon as I finish Robert's homework, I'll get on to that.
There you go. I love her, though. And the way they do, I won't give anything away, but they do the stuff in the second season with civil rights and stuff. She becomes like the best part of season 2.
Yes.
Get on it, lady.
I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine. So was that the end of your list?
That is the end of my list.
Awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, we will be back next week, and let us know your favorites down below. We will see you next time. Thank you, Bianca.
You're welcome.
Bye, guys.
Bye.